I am a college dropout. That feels so weird to say, and it's not even something that I'm genuinely ashamed about. It's just not something I talk about or even really remember. But fast forward a few years, dropped out of college. Now I'm a Gymshark athlete, a gladiator, and a powerlifting world junior champion, which is wild. And there definitely is a parallel between those things. I'm not saying because I dropped out, this stuff happened, and I'm not saying because I didn't drop out, these stuff didn't happen. Got lost there a bit, but it's it's hard for me to be vulnerable and to share my life experiences, but I think it's important, especially in this day and age. It's so easy to see someone and just assume they're a certain way. And I feel like life is really weird right now. I'm very out of touch with the growing up experience. And I feel like if me talking about my story and my journey can inspire someone to just think about their life more comprehensively, because I've changed massively as a person. I have changed so much, and it's something I always think about. Back then, when I was in school, I was an academic. Before, I was the jock you see, this cool jock, strong muscle mommy. I was a nerd. I was very academic. I was very focused. Like, the one thing that has stuck by has been work ethic. That's definitely the thing that's held me true, regardless of what I've been doing. Anyway, back then, fast forward, rewind, I was an academic. Like, I would study so hard. Um, I just loved success, being smart, learning. And it's not even something I would say came naturally to me. Like, I was always top of my class, but only because like I worked so hard. Like, that was literally it. I genuinely think I'm dyslexic right now. But I worked so hard. I used to love Grey's Anatomy. I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon for years. I'm not joking. Genuinely for years. I don't even know where that dream came from, but I always wanted to be a surgeon. So I always worked really hard from primary school, even when I had my leaving cert, which is A levels, which is SATs in the US. I don't know. I'm Irish, by the way. I'm Irish. I'm living in the UK right now, but it's a whole different system regardless of the country. So basically, my SATs, A levels, what you want to call them, 6 years beforehand, I was prepping for them. Like, I had a schedule in my room that basically went through the whole year, how I was going to study the whole curriculum, get A's on everything, and do really, really well, really well. The plan was to be a surgeon. Worked really hard in secondary school, really enjoyed school as well. Like, I enjoyed being there, which is crazy. Like, I enjoyed learning. I had friends, like, had a good friend group. But like, once I went home, and I was a bit, what's the word? I was gonna say autistic, not autistic. A bit extreme in the way I used to do things, which I still am now. I think about things very differently. Like, I used to come home from school, I would eat like cereal or something, get a bit to eat, um, take a nap for like 4 hours, and then I'd get up and it'd be like 1 o'clock, and I would just study throughout the night and do my homework and stuff, and then go to school without having slept before and like go straight to school. I was crazy. Got good enough leaving cert results, SATs, A levels, what have you, and then went into college and I got biomedical health and life sciences in UCD in Dublin, which was a really good course. Very difficult course to get into, full-time course as well, not one of them where you show up like for one class and you can miss classes. You can't. We were doing anatomy, biomedical health and life sciences. We were doing like how to make medicines, translational research, all that kind of crack. And I did my first year. I really enjoyed college. Like, I enjoyed my course, even though it was full on. Like, the lectures were so interesting. We learned so much about like biomechanics, anatomy. It was so good. Um, I joined like dance sock, and I really found like my people. I felt like, and that's one thing I do want to say. Like, you can find your people at any time of your life. In primary school, I don't feel like I was really close to anyone. I was super focused on what I was doing, and I didn't really do any extracurriculars. And I was way more reserved in primary school, unless you knew me. And then in college is when I really found like the sickest people that I was like, okay, these feel like friends. You know what I mean? And those were in extracurriculars, not necessarily in my actual course. So that's one very good thing about college. And then in my second year, did well in my first year, kind of just got through it. Second year, COVID hit, and that changed everything. COVID changed everything for me, as it did for a lot of people. One massive thing was that it just made me think about like life. And like, I'm a massive conspiracy theorist, and I really do deep things. I always look introspectively. And I think when COVID hit, I just realized, wow, the world really isn't real. Like, it's real, but it's not real. Like the fact that people were losing jobs over COVID was just insane to me. And I was like, wait, I'm in this course where I literally, at the end of it, I'll work in a lab and make medicines. And I was like, I don't want to do that or use that course to get into medicine. And I was like, I don't want to do that with my life. Like, I feel like I'm made for so much more. So I took the decision to tell my African parents, both African parents, you know how they're like, made a decision that I was going to like what's defer a year basically. So take a year out. I made a decision that I was going to take a year out and explained it to my dad. I remember calling my dad up. I was in my student accommodation, being so scared to tell them, not knowing what they think. And I called my dad and I explained the whole thing. I remember being on the phone to him for like an hour, just explaining my whole plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to get a PT course because PTs were doing so well during COVID and I was into the gym and I was like, cool, that's something I want to pursue in the future and I think I'd really enjoy it. Start making more money because we didn't have much money. Like we had to take out a loan for college and that was another con for me. And it almost gave me a reason to be like, okay, cool, let me defer a year because we don't have the money anyway. I was like, I'll work for a year, just do something different and then I'll come back. And dad was like super understanding, which was surprising. I'm daddy's girl anyway. And he was like, I trust you. Like, realistically, I don't want you to drop out. That's not something I ever wanted you to do or expected, but you seem like you have a plan, so I'm going to go ahead with it. Mom, on the other hand, wasn't for it. But I knew if I had one parent on board, it'd be grand. So took the year out, started my PT course, then immediately got a job in a gym from my friend. He gave me the connection and really enjoyed doing that. Was training with my powerlifting. That's when I started powerlifting around that time. And then was working in a gym and then I was working under someone. I was like, I really want to like do my own thing. I want a PT for myself and not PT under this umbrella of this gym. And at that point I was working with like 3 different gyms. Like networking was key. Like I had a coach in Ireland who was really good for networking, got me another job. So I was literally grafting because I wanted to do my own thing. This is when I started socials as well. I think before and afterhand timeline's a bit blurry. And then it was coming up to a year and I was like, do I go back to college? Like I'm really just enjoying this life that's happening now. And there's so much I can see for myself that I could do. And I made a decision to defer another year. I'll just defer another year. That's when I was getting really good at powerlifting. Socials were kind of like taking off. And when I say taking off, I mean like 20K followers. So not even that deep. But I just saw so much for myself. I was like, I'm going to keep PTing. I'm going to start my own PT. And it's just going to be so much fun. I was PTing people. I was really enjoying like helping people. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to defer another year. And then I had all this time and all this space and I took it from there. And then I kept getting better. And then I was able to do my online platform. I moved to Italy. I moved to France. I've had a life. I can get more into it on another video, but all I really wanted to say was, actually, I didn't get through much at all, did I? I kind of went off on a tangent, I feel like. But one thing that really held true, regardless of me kind of having a set plan, was knowing what my worth was, under following that kind of voice and feeling in my head that like I'm made for greater things and I know greater things are going to happen and everything's going to work out. Like I really do believe that true and true. When things get bad, I know things will work out. And that doesn't mean necessarily being on a TV show or being powerlifting world champion. I know I will always have a roof over my head and I know I have the capacity to get myself to a position of being better if I'm worse. And I think having that deep belief is so key and it really carry you through when things get rough or when you feel like, okay, I want to quit my job or I feel like I want to do something else, but it's so scary to take that leap. The main thing is really just backing yourself, backing the work you've done. Anytime you've fallen down, you've always gotten back on 2 feet. If you're watching this video and you've ever gone through adversity, if you're here watching this video, it means you made it through. And I do believe that's the case. I do believe what's for you will not pass you. And I feel like if you just have obsession is the main thing. Obsession and passion will take you so far. It'll take you further than just kind of a loose sense of this seems like what I should be doing. And really thinking for yourself too, like sitting with yourself and asking yourself, what do I really want? Because that's what I did during COVID, because there was so much time to think and just be with yourself, sit with your thoughts. You couldn't leave, you couldn't go outside. So you can create that space for yourself where you literally just think, what do I want? Where do I want to go? And that doesn't have to be anything specific. You might genuinely not know. It might just be a feeling of where I am right now is not where I want to end up. Like I want to be somewhere over there. I don't know what specifically what it is, but I know that I have this like fire in me that I want to pursue. And if you just work, passion, obsession, you will get there 1000%. And that's the main thing I wanted to say. Um, because now, 24, if anyone didn't know, and not many people know I dropped out because it's not something I shout from the rooftops or something that really ever comes up or something that even deep, like even thinking about it, I'm like, wow, going from that to here is going from wanting to be an orthopedic surgeon to being a gladiator on TV that like tackles people to the floor is insane. And I could have never predicted any of this. If you asked me 10 years ago, um, you're not going to be like stitching people up on the table, I would have been like, yeah, no. What else would I be doing? And for the people who are very type A, because I used to be very type A, I'm very type B now. I've crossed the whole spectrum. Um, letting go of some control is not always like a bad thing. If it, in most cases, it probably is a good thing. Um, because the world is so much bigger than the capabilities of what your mind can even fathom, and there's so much like waiting for you, and I think the only way to unlock that is true like self-belief and work ethic, working towards an obsession, like wanting something better for yourself. um yeah, that's all I had to say. I never get deep like this in any of my social channels because I just rather be mysterious and not have anyone know anything about me. But as I said, if this can just inspire people to just think about their lives more comprehensively, think of it more like a picture frame, a canvas that's empty, and you're the artist. You don't want anyone else. You have a vision, right? And you don't want anyone else interfering with it, because if you let this person, say your parents, draw like a black line here and you're like, I didn't want that there. Like I had a vision for this. And then one of your friends comes in with a paintbrush. She's like, I think this would look better here. A nice flower in the corner. You're like, I wasn't going for a flower aesthetic. I was going for a darker aesthetic. If you keep letting people dip into your paintbrushes and paint on your canvas, it's not going to look like the vision that you had and that you know would be sick. And that's how I like to think of it. You want to be in complete control. When a parent or a friend's like, I want to do this, you say no, I have a bigger vision and I know what I want this to look like. Um so yeah, hopefully that helps someone, and I will see you next Wednesday. Okay, done.